Hey guys, these are the kind of blue skies the Southwest Virginia here in the mountains are known for. Some of our crystal clear, beautiful blue skies. It's one of the things I always loved about Virginia because cloudy weather makes me depressed. Yeah, you see some clouds over here. These look like, oh well, maybe some cirrus clouds, maybe got some cold weather coming in. But then you look at them and you go, wow, those are really low for cirrus clouds. I mean, low. Like very low, huh? What could it be? What could it possibly be? Oh, there's a couple odd little streaks over there. There's a little puffball streak. And then all you have to do is look over here and it becomes readily apparent where the cloud cover is coming from. It's being deposited in the sky with a persistent aerosol of some type. I really don't think it's possible to deny that those are man-made cloud banks. I just want to let you guys know that, you know, in the beginning, I was very skeptical about this whole idea of aerosol spraying in the sky. People call it chemtrailing. Very suspicious about it because I figured it was just more superstition, more ignorance. You know, it's a condensation trail. Well, not really, guys, because condensation fades away, and this stuff spreads out into massive cloud banks. See this one right here? It has gone from a little streak to this. I've been sitting out here waiting for the school bus, waiting to drop off my children. I've been watching this thing spread out, and this is all probably from the evening, early hours of the morning, because they no longer like to do this in broad daylight, I guess. It just attracts too much attention now. People see it too easily and question it and wonder why that plane's leaving a giant streak in the sky. So now, I guess they do it by the cover of darkness, and then you wake up in the morning and you find this stuff. It's pretty insane, to my mind. And the colors that the sun makes when it goes through it are very peculiar. Nice low sun over here. You can start to see some yellows and oranges and reds. Look at these guys over here, how they have little tendrils starting to droop down. See how it's kind of like falling down? This one's totally spread out. You can see the streak that it came from. You can see the streak this one came from. You can watch them form. You can watch them dissipate. I have seen some made during the day, but not like this. You don't see this giant crisscrossy pattern of them happening during the day that often. You usually wake up to it. You come out, look outside in the morning, and you'll see a crisscross grid of streaks. Kind of disturbing. I mean, either you have to deny that these clouds are man-made, which is real hard for me as a rational human being to look up at these big streaks that the airplanes are laying down that turn into clouds and say, no, it's a natural cloud formation. That to me is like being insane. You're having a break with reality. You're saying, no, I don't want to accept that, so I'm going to pretend those are clouds. If they aren't clouds, you have to accept the fact that there is some kind of program that's creating them. Who's running that program? What is that material? Why is it not something that we get to vote on? Aren't we a democracy? I thought that we were supposed to have this transparent organization now that we've got Hope and Change. It's just the same. So which makes me more kind of depressed, because if it's not under the control of the people, then it's under the control of a few rich people, most likely. And I've never met or known or read about or heard about any insanely wealthy, powerful people that give a shit about people like me. Just don't. I'm cannon fodder. I'm just collateral damage. I'm just whatever. So I get Alzheimer's because they sprayed aluminum in the sky or whatever. That's, oh well. Your kid's got autism. Oh well. And then you got to say, okay, it's all super secret. They don't talk about it. So what's it for? Does this have some noble purpose? Is this to save the planet? Is this to repel the alien invaders with a toxin that will kill them if they try and enter our atmosphere? Is this to make pretty pictures in the sky for us to look at? I mean, is there some positive thing going on here? Or is it just strictly evil? So when I look up in my sky, am I supposed to be happy and joyful and think, oh man, what a beautiful sky? Or am I supposed to look up at my sky and go, what are we doing as a human race to our planet? What are we doing? What kind of mad experiment is this? What kind of radio frequency jiggery is this? What are they doing? And why are they doing it? This is all over the world, guys. This isn't just in Virginia. I guarantee you, if you walk outside your door and look up at the sky and you live in an area where there's more than a few thousand people living, you're probably going to see this stuff. So what is it? And why is it there? Do you still want to believe that this is condensation trails? Do you still want to believe that condensation trails turn into massive, giant cloud banks? Is that what you need to believe? Okay. You need to believe that buildings collapse in their own footprints neatly, with most of the structure just not even there anymore, turned to dust. You need to believe that that's normal, that high-rises do. A couple planes hit a high-rise and bam, it turns to dust and falls to the ground. And liquid metal is just pouring out of it. Yeah, that's what I guess we're supposed to believe. So the laws of physics, the laws of chemistry, the laws of geology, the laws of biology are no longer important. We're just supposed to believe what we're told, or else we're going to be very, very depressed and upset and worried all the time. So your choice. You can live in blissful ignorance and pretend none of this is happening and that none of it's important and that none of it means anything. Or you can look at it and wonder, what the heck is going on? Why are they doing this to our skies? Why? Why is it? This area was blue. Remember when this area was blue over here? I said, look at this beautiful blue sky we've got. Does it look like a blue sky now? No. It's got wispy clouds all over it, blocking out the sun. So, I don't usually go there, guys, you know, but I gotta ask, is it time to start asking questions, or do you just want to stick your head further and further in the sand? For me, I've never stuck my head in the sand. I've always asked questions. That's why I've always kind of been on the fringe of things. Because people don't like that. People don't like people that question, why do humans do what they do? Humans just want to be left alone to do what they do. They don't like to be analyzed. They don't like to be looked at closely. They don't like anybody to think too much. Don't overthink it. You know, that's the catchphrase for 2013. Don't overthink. Yeah. It's a great catchphrase for 2013 because anybody that overthinks is probably going to be worried and depressed about the things that come to mind. You see how much that cloud bank spread out now? That's why I made this video so long, so you guys would have a chance to see just how much this sky changed. So if you go back to the front of the video and look at when I'm pointing the camera over here, and now look at it, you'll see how much these persistent aerosol banks have spread out and turned into sky blockers. See, one of the things that I guess is just the saddest for me is that, you know, this illusion that you can move to the country and get away from it all, or that you can go to a rural location and go back in time, or that you can somehow catch a little slice of America that hasn't turned into crap, you know, by going someplace where there's a lot of churches and a lot of country folk, and people still hunt, and people still, you know, take their food from the land, you know, raise crops and put things away by canning. And you think, you know, maybe somehow I'm gonna step back in time a little bit and enjoy a a joy of life that's mainly gone everywhere else you go. Anywhere there's a big urban area, it's not like that at all. And so I guess I've just had that nostalgia ever since I was a kid, because of the way my grandparents were living in rural Virginia, and we'd go visit them, and I just loved it. And yeah, I knew it wasn't high class, and I knew it wasn't polished and educated and artsy and fartsy and all these things, and there was nothing exciting going on, and that's just how I liked it. I like regular people. I like honest people. I like people that look out for each other. It means a lot to me, and you just don't find that a lot in urban areas, densely populated areas. It's just something changes about humans in those areas. So I thought, well, you know, I'll come back to Virginia, raise my kids, have a chance at this. Well, in some ways it has worked, okay? In some ways I feel like my kids have gotten a good grounding, a good start, you know. I ran the magnet across their moral compass, and it's pointing true, you know. But then I look up at the sky, and I see the trails that have been left behind, and the planes that constantly are flying over my house, usually military or some very expensive private G5 type jets or something, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not really hiding from it much now. You know, I got helicopters flying over my house every day, a militarized police force, you know, I got to worry about driving down the road that I'm not going to get stopped because I've got some sticker out of place or something. Yeah, I know everybody's got to worry about that, but to me, all these little infringements on my liberty, they kind of eat away at me. You know, it's kind of like the way the river eats away at a rock, and it just kind of takes a long time, but eventually you realize it's changed your shape, you know. I've changed the way I feel about humans in general, because I guess because I'm 52 years old and I've dealt with a lot of humans, and I try to stay positive. You got to. That's what your ego is for, is to protect you, to keep you from being crushed, you know. So I try to stay positive about it. I have a lot of trouble when I look up at the blue sky and I see clouds that I know aren't real clouds but are man-made clouds. I just have trouble with it. It's just so crushing. I mean, think about it. They've taken away our gift of a sky. They've taken it away from us. I mean, you used to look up at a sky. When I was a kid in 1960, and I looked up at the sky, it was the sky. If there was a cloud in the sky, it was a cloud that got formed by natural weather in the sky. And I just took it for granted. It never even occurred to me that I would be raising my children in a world where when they look up at the sky, they're seeing artificial clouds that are made by some super secret program that nobody can talk about, that nobody can know about, that nobody can admit, that nobody can acknowledge, and that if you ask any questions about it, if you talk to anybody about it, they think you're crazy. Put on the tinfoil. Yeah, I'm a pilot. I know all about condensation trails. Those are condensation trails. People that talk about chemtrails are just a bunch of Alex Jones retards. Okay? That's basically what you get from people that are in denial. People that don't watch the sky, people that don't care. Because see, that's another thing too, is that we've managed to get everybody looking down at their cell phone, at their iPod, at their whatever. They're all looking down. Nobody looks up, nobody looks around. You're too busy texting your buddy to tell him you're headed over to Starbucks or whatever, you know? And that annoys me, but I mean, that's just human nature. We're just monkeys, and you give us a shiny something to play with, we'll play with it, because we're monkeys, that's what we do. We're just like that, we can't help ourselves. But what does bother me is that there could be some super secret program that we don't get to know about, that we can't ask about, that we're not supposed to talk about, that we get made fun of if we bring up. But it's incontrovertible. You can look up at the sky and see it every day. But it doesn't exist, right? It's not real. Just like right now, these clouds, okay, you might think, oh, cirrus clouds, but they're not. They're too damn low. Look at how fast they're moving. Look at how close they are to the Earth. Here's another great angle, another great view. I usually see a lot over here. As you can see, this is the way our sky did look, and now our sky's turning into a wispy, misty fog. You can see how those trails are breaking up into clouds. As far as the eye can see, crissing and crossing. It's just unbelievable to me. Okay, now you guys can say that that's condensation trails if you want. You can say that condensation trails persist, that they don't shrink, that they don't evaporate, that they don't disappear. You can say that they turn into wispy clouds and turn into a haze that just covers this whole beautiful blue sky of ours, which would have been crystal blue without these streaks. You can say those are natural cloud formations. Yeah, clouds always form in super long lines like that, right? Sure. Yeah, chemtrails. It's just a bunch of conspiracy theory nuts with tinfoil hats. Yeah, that's the way the sky's supposed to look, right? Just like that. Yeah, it's supposed to be a bunch of crisscross streaks that spread into a haze. Right? That's how we all grew up.